distinguished guests are here. We thank you as well. Thanks to the Texas A&M University Board of Regents members. Thank you all for being here. To the Texas A&M Athletics Director Search Committee, thank you for your exemplary work through this entire process. To the 12th Man Foundation board members, thank you also for being here and all that you do. And to the Texas A&M Athletics staff, all of you that make this such a special place, thank you all for being here this afternoon. It is my pleasure to welcome to this podium the President of Texas A&M, President Mark A. Welsh III.
Howdy. And thank you, Andrew. I'm going to get ready to move this thing up a little bit. One of the remarkable things about our new athletic director is you can see why he was successful on television. First time I actually met Trev in person, I was a little bit shocked because it was like looking in a mirror. Uncanny resemblance. Thanks to all of you for being here today. It is really a thrill to have you. Like Andrew, I'd like to welcome our regents for being here and thank them for their support during this entire process. I'd like to tell you that our chancellor wished he could be here today. He is the biggest Aggie fan of all, but Chancellor John Sharp has some other requirements that are out of town today, so he could not be with us this afternoon. And then there is this smoking brunette in the front row who I've noticed can't take her eyes off me. If you haven't met my wife, Betty, she's sitting right here. Stand up and wave, Betty. My wife is awesome, and I'm now in trouble. This is a great day for Texas A&M University because we're adding a remarkable talent to our university's senior leadership team. It's a great day for Aggie athletics, I think, because we're adding a tremendous leader to lead the charge here in the department. It's also a great day for Aggie athletes because we are bringing on board an inspirational role model who's walked in their shoes and done it exceptionally well. But before I introduce him, I do need to add a couple of thank yous for today. And I'm going to reiterate one of them Andrew mentioned, and that's to the athletics department, senior leadership, and staff for keeping things on an even keel for the past few months and assuring that our winter and spring sport coaches and athletes had everything they needed to thrive, despite the turnover at the top of the department. Thanks to each and every one of you. You are not quite as awesome as Betty, but you're close. And we really appreciate you. To our donors, and Travis Dabney, our CEO, and the other members of the team at the 12th Man Foundation, thank you for bringing the heat every day as the best combination of passion, philanthropy, and world-class business leadership in collegiate sports, period. We are really, really lucky to have you here in supporting this program. And on behalf of the entire Aggie family, I need to publicly thank someone who is the epitome of the 12th man for his willingness to once again step in when his university needed him. We are eternally grateful for his service and dedication to Texas A&M, which now spans 50 years. To our interim athletic director, Coach R.C. Slocum, thank you, sir. I think a two-man standing ovation is awesome, Coach. It was a great effort. And finally, and this is not insignificant, I need to actually thank specifically the members of our search committee. So as I call your name, would you please stand for a second? Mr. Dave Dunlap was the chair of the search committee for our new athletic director, Dr. Paul Bautista, Dr. Susan Balabina, Mr. Chris Cooper, Mr. Joe Fields, Coach Jim Schlossnagel, and Coach Joni Taylor were the other members. And folks, you were spectacular. Coach Taylor, congrats on the big dance. We can't wait to see you beat Nebraska. Thank you, guys. Dave's leadership and the incredible work the team did to screen, review, and interview candidates were the major factors in finding us the absolute perfect candidate to lead Aggie athletics. I should also mention that Mr. Chad Chatlos of Turnkey ZRG was superb in providing support to the committee in terms of athletic search firms. And Chad, I'd like to thank you publicly as well. And now it is my distinct honor to introduce Trev Alberts to the Aggie community for the first time formally. As a young man from Cedar Falls, Iowa, he was a pretty solid football player at the University of Nebraska. He was a consensus first-team All-American linebacker. In fact, his senior year, he won both the Butkus Award and the Lambert Trophy as the #1 linebacker in the country. His jersey number, 34, was retired by Nebraska football in 1994. In 2015, he was elected to the College Football Hall of Fame. And in 1994, he was the 5th pick in the first round of the NFL draft. This guy wasn't a pretty successful college athlete. He was a spectacularly successful, legendary college athlete. He played 3 seasons with the Indianapolis Colts before injuries forced his retirement, and then he stayed in sports but shifted gears a little bit. And from 1996 to 2009, he served as an analyst on college and professional football broadcasts for ESPN, CNN, SI, CBS Sports Network, and others. He returned to college sports in 2009 as the Director of Athletics for the University of Nebraska, Omaha. He spent 9 years in that job and then took the same job for the past 3 years at Nebraska's flagship campus in Lincoln. As an athletic director, Trev raised millions of dollars for state-of-the-art facilities. He created strategic plans where none existed. He took a university's athletic teams from Division II to Division I, which is not an easy transition. He introduced new teams and programs. He shut down teams and programs. He sent teams and individual athletes to the NCAA tournaments. He made the hard business decisions required to keep his department moving forward, and he developed a reputation as an AD who worked tirelessly to stay in touch with coaches, staff members, and student athletes under his care. He consistently devised creative strategies for student athletes to achieve even greater success in the classroom. At Nebraska Omaha, over his 9 years, that translated to an average student athlete GPA of 3.3 over 18 straight semesters. And for his last 3 semesters, that average GPA was 3.5. He also knows the business of athletics, the ins and outs of NIL issues, fundraising, multimedia, and concession contracts valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, the highs and lows of hiring and firing coaches, the imperative of building a strong team, and the need to connect your department to the greater university and be a valued part of a much larger team. We interviewed a lot of great candidates. So why Trev Alberts and not one of them? All the stuff I just mentioned was part of it. But so was the fact that I believe Trev has a profound understanding of collegiate sports from multiple perspectives. And I think he embodies the spirit of college athletics. He also lives his life in a way that will resonate with Aggies and with Aggie student athletes. Our core values are already his core values. He lives a life of faith. He loves and respects his family. Takes you about 30 seconds to figure that one out. He treats people like they matter to him, and he leads with courage. He also fully understands, better than any of us, I suspect, that college athletics is a changing landscape, and that we need a dynamic, a thoughtful, an innovative, and business-oriented leader to guide us through that landscape. And that doesn't intimidate him at all. In fact, I think the challenge energizes him, and that energizes me. But don't kid yourself. Down deep, Trev Alberts is still an All-American linebacker. I suspect he'd love starting most days by meeting somebody in the A-gap. I'm just hoping that's never me. The competitive fire still burns in this guy. You'll feel it when you talk to him, and that should energize Aggies everywhere. Trev will also be the first to tell you that his family is the foundation of any success he's enjoyed, and we are very fortunate today that most of his family members are here this morning. His wife, Angela, is sitting right here in the front row. Angela, would you wave at the crowd for me? Trev and Angie have been a team through almost his entire professional journey, and we are really, really lucky to get this kind of a team into our family. His son Chase is also here. He's an officer of the United States Army. Chase, would you wave to the crowd? And his daughter Ashton is also here. She's living in Nashville, working for Ernst Young, and a pretty accomplished volleyball player herself. Trev and Angie's daughter, Brianna, could not make the trip, but we'll look forward to meeting her and the rest of the family, including grandson Walker John here in the very near future, Chase. Congratulations to each of you for the success your family has enjoyed, and thank you for graciously sharing your husband and your father with us. We do recognize and appreciate the sacrifices you've made to support him over the years, and we promise you he's going to enjoy this part of his journey, and so will you. I hope you know this, but just to be sure, all of this, plus the other 543,000 members of the Aggie Network, are now part of your family too. And we got your back. Thanks for being here. I had my first meeting this morning with Trev, my first official meeting with Trev this morning. And I really only told him three things. I told him first that he doesn't know it yet, but this is the opportunity he's been waiting for his entire life. And we're going to prove that to him. I also told him to make Aggie athletics the #1 department of the country. And to do that, I told him, number 3, beat the hell out of everybody. I'll tell you 2 more things now, Trev. First one is congratulations. We are really excited to have you. And the second one is welcome home. Ladies and gentlemen, our new athletic director, Trev Alberts.
Thank you, General Welsh. Howdy. Howdy. Thank you very much. What a privilege, what an honor, what an awesome place. I want to thank you all for being here. This is really remarkable. And I want to thank whoever put in all the work to set this all up. This is really well done. So thank you for doing that as well. I want to thank the Fighting Texas Aggie Band. How good are they, huh? And I saw Miss Reveille was here as well. Thank you so much. That's pretty awesome. There you go. Okay, we're moving out of the way. I just can't begin to tell you how honored that our family is to be standing here and being with you today. This is an elite institution that has unlimited potential. And the more that I dug into everything about Texas A&M, the more I could see why all of you love this place like none other. So again, we just want to thank you for the incredible opportunity to be welcome to Aggieville and Aggieland here. 4 things I want to do today. I'll try hard not to take too much time, but I really want to just go through a few thank yous, and I hope you just bear with me a little bit. I do have a few people I want to thank. I want to talk a little bit about what drew me and our family to Texas A&M. Also want to build on a little bit. I'll introduce our family, and I think you'll understand a little bit why we were drawn to Texas A&M as I introduce our family. And number 4, I'd like to just talk a little bit about what you can expect from me and our department. And so if you think about what are some of our goals and what hopefully will define who we are and what our culture is, maybe 4 things that are just really important to me. Some of these things aren't unique or new. It's what I believe, it's what I've been taught, and I'd like to share them with you as well. So first of all, I'd like to thank the University of Nebraska. I've had an affiliation, obviously, with my alma mater for a very long time. And I'll always be a Cornhusker, and I just appreciate so much what the University of Nebraska has done for me. I also want to thank Coach Tom Osborne. And, Coach Osborne in 1989 saw something in a little guy from Cedar Falls, Iowa that not a lot of other people saw. I wasn't highly recruited, but he saw something in me. And other than my father, one of the great leaders and dear friends of mine is Coach Osborne, so I want to thank him. I want to thank the staff at the University of Nebraska. I want to thank the coaches. They have accomplished some uncommon things, and we did it together, and it was pretty remarkable. So just so grateful. The University of Nebraska changed my life, and so I'm just grateful to have the education and the athletic experience that really helps to define who I am. So I want to thank the University of Nebraska. I want to thank Chancellor Sharp. and I want to thank the system leadership of Texas A&M University. It's critically important, and so I want to thank them for all that they do to support all of us and our student athletes. I also want to thank the search committee. Chris Cooper, David Dunn, it was just so fun to get to meet you guys, and I'm looking forward to learning from you, and thank you for your partnerships. And for the rest of the committee that I didn't get to meet in person, I want to thank you as well for this process. I want to thank the regents that are here. Regent Sam Torn, Randy Brooks, Jay Graham, I want to thank you. Thank you for your leadership at Texas A&M University. This is really important. You know, I've been a part of several universities, obviously, and the universities are only as good as their leadership. And trustees who take this university under their wing and care enough about it to invest their time, energy, and resources in it is really important. So thank you for doing that, and appreciate that. I want to thank the 12th Man Foundation, Travis Dabney. I think that's Travis back there. Hello, Travis. It's nice to talk to you today. And you know, 12th Man Foundation, I'm learning a little bit more, but clearly really critical to our success. So thank you for what you do. I can't wait to partner with you and do some great things together. Thank you for making this place so special, Travis. Thank you to the 12th Man, the Corps of Cadets, the Yale leaders. Thank you for what you do, for making this place special. A special thank you to Coach Slocum. You know, I have a lot of respect for Coach Slocum, and I can tell you Coach Osborne has a lot of respect for Coach Slocum as well. And I watched your teams, and those teams were tough. They hit people. They were the most physical team on the field. They were fundamentally sound, and they never quit. Well, I hope that describes our football team. Because football teams that do that, they win more than they lose, don't they? So thank you for your leadership, and Coach Slocum will always be involved at whatever level he wants to, as long as I'm here. So appreciate all that you've done for this university, sir. Thank you. Finally, I want to thank General Welsh and his wife, Betty. I want to tell you that I would not be here today if it wasn't for General Welsh. I've said this many times, and anybody who knows me at all knows that leadership is really, really important to me. It's critically important. You know, the General kind of hinted at some of these things that are coming, you know, across the pike in terms of athletics, intercollegiate athletics, even higher education. And you think about all of these challenges. Leadership now is going to be more important than ever before. And I've had the great privilege of being around great leaders and not so great leaders. And I can tell you, leadership is going to really matter. So in the process, and when this job, you know, sort of was open, and I had some people reach out, and I started taking a look at it, I was like, wow, the general, four-star general, is the president of the university. So I started watching a lot of videos. My goodness. This guy's the real deal. I think it was the April 2002 muster speech that I really enjoyed, and just the heartfelt speech and referencing your father. My father can't be here today as well, but similarly, I had the same relationship with my dad. But he talked a little bit about all those corny things that still matter at a place like Texas A&M. And those corny things still matter to me too. And so I would just say thank you to General Welsh. Thank you for your leadership. And I'm really looking forward to working with you and learning from you and following you. Appreciate that. So beyond leadership, which obviously is really important to me, what else drew our family to Texas A&M? Really just a couple things. First and foremost, my mother and father grew up farm kids in northeast Iowa. I grew up working on a farm, walking beans and detasseling corn. Have you had the privilege of detasseling corn? Anybody? Yeah, it's not great. We had Albert's detasseling. We learned how to work. And so our family's always been connected to the dirt. We still own our family farms. We've grown the family farm. We don't physically farm it anymore, but we still have our farms. My wife Angela's family, her mom and dad are still farmers in northeast Indiana. So we will always be connected to agriculture, and agriculture has been really, really important. And I know it's really important to this university as well. And secondly is the military. Didn't really have a whole connection to the military until more recently. But our son, Chase, is a recent graduate of West Point, and I started to really understand and learn about the military and patriotism and all those things that make our country so great. And so Chase and his wife Cassie and our grandson Walker John, they couldn't be here. but his experience in the military has been really meaningful to us. And then our daughter Ashton, who you've already met, she lives in Nashville. She's an accountant and a CPA at Ernst & Young, played volleyball at Clemson. Yeah, she's engaged in May, and he's a West Point graduate too. So all of a sudden, we have all kinds of military in our family, and we're really excited about that. And then our youngest daughter, who's not here, her name is Brianna. She's a sophomore at Clemson. She's an architecture major, and it's spring break. And so she had that very difficult decision to make. Do I go on a trip with my friends, or do I go watch Dad's press conference? She made a wise decision, and she's not here. So, but she did promise me that she'll come to Texas A&M if she can get in and get her master's in architecture here. So those are our 3 children. My wife was mentioned. My wife of 28 years, Angela, she's my best friend and partner. And you'll soon learn she's the smart one in our family. So she went to Indiana University and is an Indiana law grad, and she's the backbone of our family, and she's what holds us together. So I'm just so grateful to our family and for all of what you mean to me and for the support. Looking forward to being Aggies with each of you. As I mentioned, my father, he can't be here, and his wife, Maggie, they are already amongst the biggest Texas A&M fans. I'm already getting text messages about wins and all kinds of things across the department, so we're just really thrilled about that. So just want to walk through 4 or 5 things, and what I'm hoping that, you know, after a while here and working with the athletic department and we look back, here will be some of the things that I'm hoping that would help to define what the culture is and what we want this place to be. Here's what you can expect from us. Number 1, we're going to be a really hard-working athletic department. At the end of the day, and I say this all the time, but we're in the competition business. That's what we do. We get defined by wins and losses. And so we have to have a willingness to work. And at the end of the day, there might be people that have more ability or whatever, but those who are willing to pay a bigger price than the other guy got a pretty good chance. And that's what I was raised on. So we're going to work really, really hard. And by the way, that's going to start with me. We're not going to ask anybody to do something that we're not willing to do ourselves. So it's pretty easy sometimes administratively sit back and watch the coaches and say, well, you know, we'll see if they're successful. The athletic department administration must match the coach's effort and student-athlete effort. So I'll be confident that this athletic department will be defined as a really hard-working athletic department. Number 2, we're going to work really hard to create a unity of purpose, something that's really, really important to me. At the end of the day, there might be people with more talent, there might be athletic departments that have more talent, or even coaches, but those that are unified, that have a clearly communicable strategy and vision for the future, those are the departments that ultimately will be successful. And so you can expect transparency from me. I say this all the time. There will never be any secrets in the Texas A&M athletic department. There'll be full transparency. There'll be full transparency around our financials with our staff and our coaches. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, great organizations have a level of discipline and accountability across the board. And so that's what we're hoping that we'll be able to bring. And again, that starts with me. We won't ask anybody to do anything that the leader isn't doing himself. And so we ask our student athletes, right? We ask them to be disciplined and to be accountable. Well, we need to have that ourselves. And so our coaches and our administration will be defined by our ability to create unity of purpose and discipline. Number 3, you can expect us to make mistakes. I promise you we won't be perfect. I'll make mistakes, and we'll own them, we'll apologize, and we'll try to fix them. At the end of the day, though, we're not going to be paralyzed in fear. And so many times I think we're going to do stuff. We're going to try stuff because we have to. And I'm aware of some of the things that are being done here outside of the typical athletic department. I think that's awesome. Thinking creatively, entrepreneurially, trying things, doing things, really engaging with our fan base will be really important. But rest assured, we'll probably make mistakes. And so I apologize in front. I'll also tell you that I know there's a lot of traditions here. I love them all. I want to embrace everything about Texas A&M. Please give me a little grace and mercy if I screw it up or do some things that you're like, well, that's not how we do it here. Give me a chance, I'll learn it, I'll fix it, and we will embrace it. But we will make mistakes. Number 4, we're going to be willing to adjust and adapt. As General Welsh said, there's massive change that's happening in our space. And our ability to recognize that and be ahead of that and be comfortable making that change will be absolutely critical to us moving forward. Now more than ever before, we run a business. And I know that's really uncomfortable in our space because that's why not a lot of us got into this, right? But we're going to run a business, and we're going to run as clean and disciplined of a business as we possibly can. But rest assured, we will never compromise our values in support of student athletes, because you can do both, I promise you. You can do both. Just like I said, we're in the competition business. It doesn't just mean we're going to be competing to win on the field or in the pool or on the court. There's no reason at Texas A&M that you can't win at everything. You can win in competition. You can win in the classroom, graduation success rates, APR. You can win in terms of community service and all those things that are really important to Aggie, to all of our values. And so we're not going to compromise our values. I would tell our staff all the time, nobody in this room would have a job if it wasn't for student athletes. So they'll still be our focus. We're going to serve them, and we're going to honor them, and at the same time, as best we can, we're going to run a business. The student athlete experience will matter here. And the better business we run, the better experience they're going to have. And finally, we're going to be a part of the greater campus community. This is really important. I understand what the role of the athletic department is. It's really important. It's the front porch of this great institution. We're the brand investment of Texas A&M University. And so we need to do things the right way. But at the end of the day, everything that we do here, number one, will be with General Welsh's approval and recommendation. But it'll also be done that no decisions that will be made in the athletic department won't be made with the greater campus good and our community in mind. Our job is to elevate the institutional profile of Texas A&M University and then ultimately serve this community and then the state of Texas and beyond. The reach of Texas A&M is pretty remarkable. And so we're going to work really, really hard to be connected to our campus. So those are just 4 or 5 little things that we're going to try to do. We won't do a lot of talking. We'll just do a lot of working. And we'll work hard to create a family within athletics. We're going to value and care about everybody. Everybody's going to have a very important part, no matter who they are. If you're the athletic director or whoever, set these chairs up. If everybody's operating at an elite level, we got a chance to do something that's really uncommon. And finally, as you think about the future, no matter if it's in higher education or wherever intercollegiate athletics goes, I don't think there's any possible scenario that I can envision where Texas A&M University isn't going to be at the forefront of helping to define what that future looks like. And that's got to be awfully exciting for Aggies all across the world. So thank you again on behalf of our family. We're so grateful to be welcomed into your family, and we look forward to interacting more in the future. Gig 'em.
We'll have the photos, the family, and President Welsh, and then we're going to have Trevor, Thomas, Ethan, Grayson, Jake. You're going to hear. We're going to conclude with the war hymn. A reminder that after this, media, please go to the Kyle Field Media Center. That will be an additional press conference that will be there. Entry 3 will be the way. All y'all, the 12th man, thank you for being here. That will be the way to get out. That is how we will conclude this. And Trev, I think we waited for the howdy and the gig 'em. You nailed them both.